Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's April 10th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And in the end, it's just a range day. We had a really big move up, a even bigger move down, and another real quick big move back up again. So it was it was pretty straightforward. Once we got early on, it looked like it was probably going to be a trend day. And then it looked like it was going to be a big sell-off. And then once we started climbing here, it was pretty obvious, by lunchtime that this was a range day. Um, when we just reversed here with this, I mean, you can see that trend line working up through there. That's really where we started working higher again. It was pretty obvious what was going on at that point. Early on, you could have gotten mixed up because it looked like it was going to be a nice rally, and then like it was going to be a huge sell-off. And really, in the end, we end up almost unchanged. So if you're going to have a range day, these are the kind of you like to have one with these kind of moves, so you can still make some pretty good money. You only had to catch one or two of these moves, and you would have done really well. So, but let me back out. We'll talk about the trades, and we'll wrap today up. I'm trying to get this done a little earlier today. This start was a little bit confusing. You got a pretty tight overnight high and overnight low here. So you got to be real careful entering in the middle here. And you really did kind of have a trend working down here. And then you had this move, but look how we go straight through the EMA. We pull back, and you get a second entry short here, but everything's really gone flat. It's right in the middle of the highs and lows. If you went short there, you should have drawn that trend line right out of the gate there. Uh, you might have drawn it a little differently early on, but even if you use the low, it's not going to be a whole lot different. You wouldn't have been able to take this short here because it's right into that trend line. And even though you would think we'd probably push for a new low on let me just draw this. I don't have it on here, but you can see that trend line right there. And that's the first close outside. So we may try to make a low. So when you saw that second entry short there, you could have gotten tripped up on that. If you went short there when it reversed, I'd reverse on that one. But that turns out to be a short trap, so I like going long there. Um, it's a little bit questionable even going long at that point, though, because it's right in the middle of the range. So really, when it comes back again and bounces off that trend line, and we're not back to those highs, that's where I really like adding, jumping in there. But if you're already in here, I don't, add on. This is a little breakout pullback long. Again, I don't have my line on there, but you can see that little breakout pullback long right across there. There's some support resistance, and that you break out, pull back, and you move on. And so I really like entering that one. I still like making this one blue. This one's real close to being green because you could have gone short or long there. Obviously, once you see the trap, I like taking it long better than I do short because of the trend line working up through there. But if this is the thing you got to look at here on this trend coming down, we never made a new low, but it's a range day, and you don't always make a new low. Of course, you don't know for sure it's a range day, but this has a look for a range day. That's not very much movement. Overnight lows right here, overnight highs right here. There's a good chance this is a range day. So you got to be careful entering it right in the middle regardless. So anyway, it pushes on up. You get another close outside. It's just a first entry right into the high of the day. I don't like that one. And we just kind of sputter up here. Um, there's a little failed break lower right here. This line really, I originally had it right along across there. Um, I moved it up when all the closes were a little higher, but you can see that's a little double test. It's a second entry long, but I don't like going long into that high. You don't want to be going short there, but I don't think you want to go long there either. Um, and then of course you turn down right here. You get a close outside a new high. So any way you looked at this, you could have seen this as your trend coming up, and you get a break, and there's two legs up. There's two measured legs up. there's two legs in that first leg, and then you get another leg, and that's pretty much two measured legs up. So you get a close, two legs up, or you could look at it like this flatter one, and you get a close outside and a couple of moves up, and it still reverses. It's tempting to go short right here, but with everything being up, I wouldn't be trying to pick any tops. I'd wait on a reversal pattern. You get a lower high here, but that bar is too bullish. It's right into the EMA. But notice what happens. It pushes on through, turns up, it comes back and confirms that trend line, gives you a really bearish bar. That's your entry right there. And look at it go. If you caught that one trade, that's all you really needed today. And then you back up, you get a closeout stuff. There's a little short-term trend working up there. I don't have it on there. You can see it working up there. You get a closeout side, move to a new high. It doesn't quite make a new high, but it makes a little, it's a double test of that little tick up right there. It's not back to the trend line, but this has been pretty strong sell-off, and it is back to the EMA, so I still like that second entry right there. You could argue for that to be real close to being green for the fact that it didn't make a new high and it's not back to the trend line. But we're not back down to the lows quite yet either, so I liked it. And then, of course, when you push lower, look how far away we are from the EMA. This is risky because you're trying to pick a bottom just like this one, but you see if you catch these, a lot of times you catch the high or the low. If you caught this, you caught the high of the day on this move. You catch this one, you catch the low of the day. So, you know, I like if you understand what's going on. The problem is most people will pick the wrong one and they'll get it wrong 2 or 3 times and then you ruin your day. So they're definitely green, but if you understand what's going on and you want to risk it, I just wouldn't risk, I hate to even go down this road because people will start trying to pick tops and bottoms, but you see with a lot of risk comes a lot of reward. And if you catch either one of these, that's the only trade you need for the day because both of them would have caught a runner and both of them would have just kept going. But again, there's a higher low here, just like there's a lower high here. But it's right into the EMA, and see how it gets a little resistance. It ends up pushing through, but wait on that reversal, which comes right here, and then of course you got this little trend line working up, and it's a pullback to that trend line. So I like entering there, and it's very similar to over here with a little resistance across there. It's almost a repeat pattern, and at this point you're looking for prices to come back up here, and it doesn't take very long. And notice what happens. You get a close outside here, and you get a double test of that area. Tried to go lower twice and couldn't, so there's a little short trap there. I like going long just to ride it back to the top. And that's exactly what it gets, and it turns down. And now you've tested this area twice. You've had a break of this trend and a couple legs up to a new high. You're way away from the EMA. So I like going short right there. And of course you get 2 legs down, and this is a second entry long, a nice bullish bar. It does confirm that trend line, but the reason it's only green is we just came off the high side. So what is likely to happen? We're likely to go back to the other side. And the reason I left this one green and not just completely left it off was because really the highs at that point were up here. Even though we're testing a high here, there's still a chance we could go higher. So I really thought we'd probably push on up here, but you still got to be leery of it. There is a little trend working down, and it's a big overshoot is what it really is. And you can see that there's your channel right there, and it's a big overshoot on that channel. And generally that will lead to a reversal. So that gives you a little clue that, hey, we may push back up again. When you get this long trap here, I like reversing just in case it goes the other side. You only get a scalp out of it, but then it turns right back up again. And that gets you into the 2 o'clock hour. So it was an interesting day. Just you really wanted to watch your shorter term as well as your trend up and your trend down. You got a trend up, a trend down, and a trend up. And then you got your stuff working in between. And it's the stuff in between that you got to be careful of. Um, the just to explain the range, these highs and lows take the precedence over everything today. And then secondary is this trend line going up, this one coming down, this one going up, and then secondary to that or further down the list are these really short-term ones in here. And you got to, use them all because they will all come into play. And so not only was this a reversal pattern here, it's also a breakout pullback from all that support resistance right there. So generally you'll come back and test that stuff. But yeah, not a bad day, not a ton of trades. You had to be a little patient right in here. It just kind of got, I mean, if you'd had a good signal bar in here, you might have considered going long. You could look at this, there's a double bottom here, and so you could look at that as a trap, and that might have led you to want to go long there, but you don't have much room, so I'm still not crazy about it. The best I'd give that would be a green. It would have worked, and the setup is there, but it's just not it's not one that I'm crazy about taking because you're likely to get trapped on the wrong side, trying to thinking you're outfooled everybody else. That's what worries me about that one. So it looks like it's going to be a short trap, but sometimes you'll get that and then it'll turn up and be a long trap and turn right back down again. So you just have to be careful of that. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again and do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.